Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the shop. My name is Travis. If you're new here, we like to build cool stuff, sometimes in the shop, sometimes outside of the shop. Sometimes we build the shop itself, sometimes we do house projects. But today, we're following up on the giveaway. That's right, the Super Clean giveaway. If you missed the last episode, you had one of 3 ways to enter. All you needed to do was watch that episode, leave a comment down below on the YouTube comment section, and then we would go to a random comment generator to pick at random any comment. So that's all I required of that. That was pretty easy. I asked that you subscribe and like, obviously, but if you just left a comment, you were eligible to enter. So we're going to pick that winner now. Congratulations, Kenn Whittier. We're going to be sending you some Super Clean products for you to try out and check out for yourself. Hopefully you like it. Hopefully it helps you keep your projects clean and on to building some more cool and amazing things yourself. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for leaving a comment. The next way was the Facebook page. If you don't know, we have a Facebook page, HCRMotorWorks, same thing as this. And you could go there, you could give that page a like, give it a thumbs up, give it a follow, all that good stuff. And all you needed to do, I posted the link to this video as a post on the Facebook page, and we only got 3 comments. So, we didn't need a random comment generator for this one because, well, Kenn was one of the comments that left first on that one to increase his eligibility to win, and congratulations, he already won on the YouTube random comment generator selection. So we're excluding him from this contest because that wouldn't be fair. We'd be picking the same person twice, and that's not fair to you all. The third person that left a comment, which was actually, I think, one of the first 2 comment, was a buddy of mine. So again, that's not fair to you all. I'll send him plenty of free stuff later on in the future. So that left the only person left. So if you were thinking about commenting and you didn't, shame on you. You could have won. So with that in mind, we have Kelvin Isaias. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry if I butchered it, but Kelvin, congratulations. We're going to be sending you a care package of Super Clean products for you to check out and try on your own. Thank you for liking and following the Facebook page. Thank you for leaving a comment and participating. The last one, we had to try a few random comment generators because they all want you to sign up for stuff. And I don't like signing up for anything. I just want to pick a random comment and select the winner. It's pretty simple. So we did like 3 different, we tried 3 different web pages. It didn't really work as planned. So we found one that did, and we're going to select that one now. Alec Goodman 17, congratulations. You won the 3rd and final Super Clean product giveaway. So that's our 3 winners: Kenn Whittier, Kelvin Isaias, and Alec Goodman 17. Congratulations. Thank you for participating. Thank you for commenting on the Instagram page. Thank you for liking, all and following, all that good stuff. Thank you for subscribing to this channel and everything. So if that's all you're here for, congratulations. If you're one of the 3 winners, congrats. We're going to send you some stuff. If you haven't already, which 2 of you already have, but if you haven't already, please send me an email at hcrmotorworks@gmail.com and leave me your name and address, and I'll get that care package out to you for the 3 that did win. So once again, thank you for participating, and hope you like the Super Clean products that you're getting for free. Tell me how they work for you, and I'm always interested in getting your feedback and getting your opinion. So if you think they're great, let me know. If you think they're not so great, let me know. The next thing was, we're going to get to the questions. Over the course of this build behind me, this 280Z, a bunch of people have asked random questions. So we're going to be answering a few of those and kind of giving you a little update to what I want to happen moving forward with the YouTube channel, and what are my kind of ideas. A lot of you want to know a little bit more about me. I don't know why I'm not that interesting. And a lot of you want to know what's in store. Future builds, future shop updates, things like that. So obviously none of that's happened yet, so we're going to get into the meat and potatoes in this video and kind of let you know what I hope to have planned in the near future. All right, so the first question we have, it was actually on the previous video. Up the Pooper asked, excited for the incoming content. I just had my 280Z dustless blasted. Very good choice. You never want to sandblast. I've gone over that in previous videos. Try not to dry blast any of the body panels whatsoever, ever. Like, don't do that. It'll warp them. You'll be there forever. So I always recommend DA sanding with as rough of grit sandpaper as it takes to get it down to bare metal on all the body panels, and everything else for the engine, interior, undercarriage, engine bay, undercarriage, interior, all that stuff. you can blast away. Wanted to know your opinion moving forward. I was going to sand with 80 grit. Yes, do that. And apply some zero rust. I kind of already followed this up with a quick reply because I do not want you to apply zero rust. I'll show you why. I applied zero rust on the inside of my 260Z, and for the first like 6 months, it looked great. But it went on kind of dry, kind of sandpapery. I wasn't too excited about that. I knew it was an application issue at the time, but I figured, I'll top coat it later on. No, I would not recommend zero rust product unless something has changed in the past 10 years. It did not work out well for me if you're going to be spraying it. Now, rolling it on may be a different story. And if you're absolutely a zero rust hardcore guy, do that. But I'll follow that up with zero rust that I have. A better Pour 15. Okay, that is absolutely an incorrect statement. No way, shape, form, or fashion about it. Sorry. Pour 15 is like the industry-leading paint over rust product. Zero rust claims to be as good as Pour 15 at a cheaper price point. I talk about that in several videos of anytime someone's coming in at a competing price, most of the time there's a reason that product is cheaper. They're filling it full of more stuff that doesn't do anything for you, or they're leaving out the important bits that they're classifying as better. So Pour 15 is the leader in that, and I don't recommend either of them. Zero rust, because I have personal experience with that one. It did not go well, the application, nor the longevity of it, okay? It just didn't work for me. It may work for you if you have it sitting on a shelf. Give it a go. If it's a project you absolutely care about, I wouldn't use it. And on that note, I wouldn't use Pour 15 anyway, ever. Like, I don't recommend those products simply because I don't paint over rust. I fix the rust. Either convert it using Pickle X or Ospo or some type of product like that will actually convert the rust. And then you want to neutralize that. So another product goes on top of that to neutralize the acid that's in those products. And then you clean everything up really fresh, clean, bare metal again. And then you would apply something like epoxy primer on it. What those products claim to do is starve the metal of oxygen. That's debatable. So in that instance, I would want to remove as much rust as possible, and the divots and stuff that you're not blasting and that you cannot get out, I would recommend a rust converter, and then a neutralizer, and then epoxy primer on top of that after you've sanded with 80 grit and cleaned it up and all that good stuff. So that's my recommendation. You can do what you want, but you asked me. So that's what I would do. I always use epoxy primer. I don't use any other products because most of them are trying to circumvent what needs to be done. And that's either removing the rust, the panel that is rusted, and replacing that panel, or it's trying to cover up something that you're too lazy to fix. And we don't do that here. So that's what I would recommend. Yeah, zero rust on the interior and underneath, possibly on the inside of the fenders as well. And then epoxy primer the engine bay and exterior. Yeah, I would just use epoxy all over everything. I would blast it, get it blasted, and then epoxy primer over everything. That's my recommendation. Would you suggest painting, then doing body work, floors, battery trays, rockers, etc., or body work, then painting? I live in New York, so rust is a worry. Ooh, move out of New York as quick as possible. That'd be my second recommendation. Yeah, you don't want to be, these cars are awesome. You don't want to live anywhere where they're putting salt on the roads, man. So there's better weather elsewhere, more than 2 months out of the year. So what I would do is I would do exactly what you're attempting to do, which is get it dustless blasted, take it all the way down to bare metal, and then any problem areas, I would immediately put it in epoxy primer. You're probably going to buy about 2 gallons, which will give you 4 gallons of sprayable material by the time you get the part A and B. So you'll get the epoxy primer, and then you'll get the activator with it. That'll give you 2 gallons of sprayable material. That may or may not be enough for everything. It should be, but just depending on how crazy you're going with the blasting, it may not be. Undercarriages and interiors eat up a lot of paint, so you may want to buy 3 gallons just to have a good out. But I would do that. I would take it all the way down to bare metal with the dustless blasting, and then I would clean everything as good as possible, and then put at least 2 coats, preferably 3 coats of epoxy primer on top of the bare metal. And then when it comes time to do your body work, you will replace what you need to replace. I probably wouldn't do 3 coats on like a rusted floor pan that you're going to cut out anyway, because you're just wasting epoxy at that point. But any, typical stuff that you're going to leave, I would just go ahead and spray it, get it out of bare metal as quick as possible, and then do all of your rust repair, panel replacement, things like that. And then you can start on your body filler and get those panels back in epoxy as quick as possible, and then start on your body filler, do all your body work, and etc. We got a ton of videos that you can check out, I think either right here or right here. I'll leave a link to that, where I have like the 30-day paint and body challenge. So there's tons of information in those. I know some of them are long-winded, kind of like my response to this question, but there's good information in there. It teaches you all about how to paint at home and how to do it on your own time with the equipment you have. So hopefully that helps. All right, the next question is, I get a few DMs and messages on either Facebook or email or Instagram. So if you ever have a question that you want to ask directly, just shoot me a DM on that. I don't reply to all of them, but I try to reply to as much as possible. There's a bunch that get sent, so I try to be as active as I can. The next one's, what are future builds? What are you trying to feature on the channel? So I've kind of mentioned this in the past. I didn't ever anticipate, and nor do I want this channel to be Datsun content only. I just happened to be building a Datsun at the time that I started filming a lot of videos. And I happen to have a Datsun that I'm probably going to keep for a while. So the 280Z behind me is one that I'm building currently, and I featured a lot of content on that build, and I'm hoping as far as the next step is going to be to finish this one up. So I want to get this one done, and then I have my 260Z that I want to do a bunch of stuff to. So there's still going to be Datsun content, but it's not a solely Datsun channel. So if all you're here for is the Datsun content, don't worry, we're still going to have a bunch, but it's not only going to be that. So as far as future episodes as that goes, well, I do a lot of other stuff outside the shop. So like I said, sometimes we build stuff in the shop, sometimes we build the shop itself, sometimes we do machining and welding and fabricating and just fun little projects up in the front, powder coating, things like that. A bunch of you have asked me more details about the powder coating oven and the process and all that, and I'll do a video on that in the future. I've been meaning to do one for a while, and I've just neglected that. So I built that oven. I'll give you more details on it and do a whole separate video on how you can build your own DIY powder coating oven. There's more stuff coming on the outside. I've done a few videos already of just kind of like working in the woods. We have 11 acres here that I live on currently, and it needs upkeep. So some of that's chainsaw, trimming up trees, garden stuff, and then I bought a tractor. So you're going to see more tractor videos in the future as well. So hopefully you guys enjoy that too. And yeah, all that stuff needs work and greasing and continual maintenance. So there's going to be a bunch more breakdowns on those videos and the breakdowns on the equipment themselves. So don't worry, you're going to see me fixing a whole bunch more stuff here in the future. What other future builds do you have in mind? Okay, so kind of the same thing. I'm hoping to get the 280 done. I'm going to be redoing the 260Z. I own a 92 GMC Sonoma that needs a lot of work right now. I have to rebuild the whole front suspension. It's got some body work that needs to be done. Engine transmission, I've already put 2 transmissions in it. Over the life I've had it since I was 17 years old. It's got 375,000 miles on it or thereabouts, and it's a great little truck, but it needs some love. So I'm going to be rebuilding the whole front suspension on that here momentarily, and getting a whole bunch of parts for that. So that'll come up at some point. I don't know when. But yeah, so garden stuff, tractor stuff, wood stuff, personal vehicles, things like that. You'll see that in the future, I'm sure. If you could add any other project vehicle to your lineup, what would it be and why? I want to get into more heavy, big stuff. Stuff that doesn't fit in the shop. I have this great big shop. It's 3,500 square feet, 55 by 65. It's a great workspace. And I don't know why I would want to ever buy anything that didn't fit in it. But I've had a desire to have a dump truck for a long time and a tow vehicle for a long time. A lot of these projects are hard to go pick up and drop off and just acquire more crap with. So I would like to have something that I can hook up to a trailer reliably and go tow. I'm looking at a diesel. Diesels are just awesome. I have been missing out my entire driving adulthood and adolescent teenage years and everything. I've been a gas guy for the entirety of it. And after working on a lot of gasoline vehicles and then getting into the diesel world a little bit, man, diesels are just so much easier. I can see why there's so many will it start videos, and they do after sitting for 30 to 50 years, because diesels are just amazing pieces of equipment. A gas engine, you would not have that much luck. You're going to have clogged jets in the carburetor and all sorts of other issues, timing and spark plugs and everything else. Diesels don't have any of that stuff. So it's all mechanical, and I like simple mechanical, just stuff that works. So I'm looking for potentially in the future like an LMTV. I think that's what they're called. Yeah, I've had this hankering now. I've been looking at an LMTV, which is a light military transport vehicle. They've got some pretty cool features. And they're diesel. So I would like to potentially look at getting one of those in the future as like a flatbed tow rig, something I could hook a trailer up to and just tow around. I'm not going to be putting a ton of miles on it, so I don't need like a brand new, Ram 3500 or 4500, although that would be nice too, but I don't feel like shelling out the $60,000 to $80,000 they want for them. So, you know me, I like old used stuff. And that's kind of where I would potentially be heading with that. As far as the other side, the dump truck side, I've gone back and forth. I'm not a Ford guy at all, but they built a better F-350 dump truck. So if I'm getting like a light 1-ton dump truck, it would probably be something like that. I would love, if it's that, for it to be 4-wheel drive and a diesel and a 5-speed. That'd be great. If it's not that, I'm probably stepping up into like a 2-ton, like the older F600, 650s, something like that. Yeah, so between that and maybe like a F750 would probably be the biggest I would go. I don't really want to get into a CDL right now. So if I could keep it under in Georgia, you got to have 26,001 pounds or under, and then you don't need a CDL to drive it. So I would like something like that. But yeah, diesel, dump truck, steel bed with a rock bed, and that's been kind of hard to find. So we'll see. Maybe in the future you'll see it on here. That'd be pretty cool, huh? What future updates or upgrades do you want to do to the shop space? Man, the shop is a never-ending evolvement. Obviously, like I said before, it's a 55 by 65. I got to right around 3,500 square feet. It is uninsulated. I've redone all the lighting back here, and that's why I do pretty much all my filming back here, because it's the only place in the entire shop that has good lighting. The rest of the lighting absolutely sucks, which is funny because when I first started putting everything in here, this back half had like 2 fluorescent lights that were barely lit. They were dim and flickering, and they were terrible. The front half actually had decent lighting back then. It's the same lights, but when you actually fix the lighting in the back, you realize how terrible those are. So that's probably the next thing on the list, is to redo all of the lighting up there and in this side bay over here as well. So that way I can have as is illuminated as you see it back here everywhere in the shop. The other cool thing would be, I did a roof project a while ago, so it's got a brand new roof on it. That was a lot of fun. Saved a bunch of money by doing it myself that way. The quotes I was getting were like 18 to 22,000, and I think I did the whole project by myself for like 8,000. It's a metal roof. It worked out great. So I had to replace a bunch of rotten OSB on the roof. That was like 2, maybe 3 years ago now. So no leaks, no issues. I still need to do a little bit of the siding leading up on the gables up to it on both sides, and then the soffits. So as far as like the shop itself, that would be probably the 2 things that I would have to fix next. If we're dreaming about what I want to do to the shop, then I would love to insulate it and put AC in here. That'd be really cool. Because in the wintertime, I'm kicking on a little torpedo jet burner and breathing in all those fumes, which can't be good for you. And in the summertime, I'm opening up all the doors and just kicking on fans and sweating my you-know-what off. So I would like to be comfortable. So we'll see. And then if we're really dreaming, I'd like to epoxy the floors, but I don't ever see me having this place empty enough for me to be able to come in here and grind the concrete to be able to do that. So yeah, that'd probably be the 5 wish items: is new lighting in the front and the side, potentially insulating, adding AC, and putting metal on the gables and soffits. So yeah, that's pretty much all I need to do to the shop area at this point in time. But maybe in the future I'll build another shop. Where did you go to learn to work on stuff? So I've been working on stuff since before I could drive, out of necessity. I never had the money to buy anything that was reliable enough to consider daily transportation. So everything that I had enough money to buy needed work from the get-go. The first vehicle I ever bought was an '89 RS Camaro, and I have about 1,000 reasons why that was a massive mistake. But that car never got on the road, so I obviously didn't learn enough about fixing cars at that age. I bought it when I was 14, and I didn't end up selling it till I was like 20 because I was over that car completely. The second vehicle I got through a weird set of circumstances. Basically, my sister bought this truck, and then she couldn't afford to keep it, so I ended up inheriting it, and it was an '85 K10 Chevy Scottsdale. It was a great truck. I drove that thing all through high school, but it was slightly more reliable as it could be daily driven, but it was not reliable enough to not have to work on it. So realizing that, I grew up around cars and working on stuff and turning wrenches pretty much since before I could even think about any of that stuff. I was taking stuff apart and putting stuff back together, not just on cars, but in electronics and everything else. I've always had that curious mindset. So it was no big deal for me to dive in to this truck and fix what needed to be fixing at the time. I kind of realized early on that if you didn't know how to do this stuff, that you were going to be either out of a vehicle completely because it was going to be mechanically totaled, meaning it would cost too much to pay somebody to fix, or you were always going to be left stranded somewhere. So I believe in that self-reliant thing wholeheartedly through and through. So I learned how to turn wrenches and keep the thing on the road. Funny story, I ended up selling that truck to my best friend, who's still my friend. So we're okay. But I ended up selling that truck to my best friend so that I could buy it back in the future. And coincidentally enough, he made it his own many years after that, and he has no interest in selling it back to me. So yeah, I lost that truck. I still get to see it from time to time, but it's gone. Now, to follow that question up with how I got started in all this, it all started with the Husky toolbox. I had a bunch of mismatched tools that I was doing some jobs with for myself, and then I got the bright idea that I could maybe do some stuff for other people, maybe charge a little bit more money on my days off and make a little bit of side money helping somebody else get their project on the road, and then I could buy a toolbox and organize my tools. Obviously, that went and got way out of control. So we're here to the point to where that small decision to do an engine swap or rebuild an engine for somebody and make a couple $100 at the time to buy a $500 to $600 toolbox has led to everything you see here. So I have sandblasting cabinets, metal fabrication equipment, slip rolls, brakes, shears, bandsaws, horizontal bandsaw, vertical bandsaw, milling machine, lathe, horizontal lathe that I actually need to rebuild. That'd be a fun one to feature on the channel. It actually needs a motor and some other stuff. So if you like machine rebuilding and things like that, maybe we can get that one back up and going. But point being is I have accumulated a lot of crap now in the sake of helping somebody else with potentially helping me on the side with a little bit of side income. So that's kind of what it all started as a necessity in the beginning when I was just starting to learn how to drive and just starting to learn how to work on vehicles, has blossomed into 10 years later or so, the point to where I had the capability, the knowledge, and know-how to be able to say, yeah, I can do that for you, and in return get a little bit of, it was like my version of mowing grass as a young adult, right? So somebody needed an engine pulled, and I'd go pull it, make a couple $100, and it allowed me to buy the toolbox. And then I kind of kept that mentality going on until I outgrew the garage space that I was in, and then we found this lovely gym. So I have enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. So, and then I decided to potentially share the knowledge and what I'm working on with you guys, and you have enjoyed it thus far. So I appreciate that more than anything. I see that you have a milling machine and lathe and a whole bunch of other metal fabrication equipment along with welders, and what I'm personally most jealous of is the 2-post lift. Yeah, man. That was probably one of the best things that I invested in putting in here. I've been working on stuff for over 15 years, and I have always used jack stands and been on my back working on stuff. So the lift was definitely a great addition. Coincidentally enough, it's not as useful as you would think. It's a great piece of equipment, but I still find myself for oil changes and things like that I can just jack up the car, put jack stands under it, get up under it, pop the drain plug and filter. It's almost quicker for me to do that stuff on the ground versus setting it up to put on the 2-post lift and get in the air. It's weird how that works. So great piece of equipment, love to have it. But you want to know if I could add any additional equipment to the shop, so new tools in the shop, what would it be? Yeah, it's just kind of expanding the capabilities. I would say as far as like automotive stuff, I'd love to get a tire machine and a balancer. I have found myself, it's just a hassle. I like to buy stuff at a good deal and a good value, and most of the time that leads me to buying tires online. So I get them shipped here, and then I have to find somebody, which is usually a rundown tire shop in the middle of nowhere, that will be willing to mount and balance tires that they didn't sell you. So if you go to any of the major discount Tires Plus, all that good stuff, they're not going to mount the tires that they didn't sell you. I guess it's a liability thing. So for me, it's an inconvenience thing, and I would love to have the convenience of being able to buy good value tires and put them on myself. I have a lot of vehicles, and I anticipate getting a lot more. So that will be probably on the list, top 5. Outside of automotive equipment, like I was saying, the oil change thing before, I would like to have a shop where I could have a 4-post lift. That would be just much easier to drive the car on, lift it up, do the oil change, and drive it back off without having to position the arms and everything. And I don't know, these are first world problems and major, inconveniences. But if we're dreaming, right? So that would probably be the next thing. If we're talking general shop equipment, there's a possibility that I'm going to be replacing. I have 2 sandblasting cabinets that I use to prep all the parts that get powder coated or sent off to plating or whatever. Those are both dry blasting cabinets. I made my own pressurized pressure pot blasting cabinet. It doesn't work near as well as I want it to, keeping everything contained. The pressure pot blaster is way more efficient than a siphon blaster or a suction blaster, which is the little Harbor Freight blasting cabinet that I have. But the homemade cabinet that I built to go on top of it does not keep everything contained. It makes the whole shop dusty. So that's something I want to fix. And I might have a lead on a used vapor blaster, which will be like dustless blasting, but in a blast cabinet, which would be pretty cool. So I'd like to potentially get that. As far as other like equipment, I want to get into more CNC stuff, and maybe, have a little bit of scalability with things that I come up with. Not to say I want to get into production or anything like that, but sometimes, I have an idea, and it's a lot easier if I could go to like a CNC plasma cutter. I've looked into those. I thought I was going to dip my toes into the CNC plasma cutting game with the Crossfire Pro, and then when I was about to pull the trigger on it, they came out with the Crossfire XR, I think it is, which is the 4x8 table. And for me, anything I buy in a full sheet and most sheet metal goods are either 5x10 or 4x8. So to have the capability, and I have the space in the shop, there's kind of no point to buy a smaller machine when you're spending that kind of money. So yeah, that would be something I'd like to have. I've also looked at the Avid CNCs, the little CNC router tables. That'd be pretty cool. But again, those are like $10,000 to $15,000. So I need about 150 to 250,000 more of you to hit that subscribe button and like this video for the YouTube algorithm. That way we can actually make those things a possibility, potentially. And then if we're in La La Land, I've been lusting over like a Haas VF or VF2, something like that. I have 3-phase power and stuff like that, and I figure, if you're dreaming, dream big. So like I said, it's not practical for me. I'm not in a production environment, and I never intend to be like, banging stuff out on these tables or machines. But it's an opportunity for me to learn something new, and I believe that's, for me, the most important thing is continual improvement, continual learning, and hopefully you guys feel the same way. So that's pretty much all I got. That was for the 1,000 subscriber Ask Me Anything. We're a little bit over 1,000 subscribers. We're at 1,330 something right now. So I appreciate every single one of you that went to the trouble to hit that subscribe button. If you're one of those who are watching this video that hasn't thus far, go ahead and click it now. It costs you nothing. They're still free of charge. I'm never going to charge for it. And if you want to, turn on your bell notifications, turn them to all. That way you get notified just as soon as I post videos like this. Go ahead and like this video because that helps the YouTube algorithm and helps the channel overall. I don't know if I'll put some Amazon links for some stuff in the description below. And don't worry, you don't need to buy the stuff that I actually post there. If you just click on the Amazon link and you want to help out the channel, all you need to do is click on it, go to Amazon and buy anything you want. That's how it works. I still get a commission off that. So if you want me to get any pennies off of what you were intending to buy anyway, I never advocate spending money that you don't have or weren't planning on spending and have budgeted to spend anyway. So just keep that in mind. If I do post an Amazon link in the description below and you click on it, you say, I don't need that, don't worry. You probably don't. And I'm not advocating that you buy it, all right? But if you're gonna spend money on anything and you use my link and it takes you to the Amazon website and you buy something else, that's fine. I still get pennies on that. So it is much appreciated. As always, if you have any comments or questions, drop them in the comment section below and I'll do my best to get around to answering them just as soon as I can. I appreciate you guys as always, and until next time, thanks for watching this one.